Hello and welcome to episode 106 of Daryl Show Your Work. All right, so in this episode, I will be exploiting CVE 2018 10933, which is targeting a vulnerability surrounding the lib SSH library. So I'll go into what all of that is here in a second. But before I get started, I'm going to preface my video with the usual disclaimer here that I give anytime that I do any type of offensive security actions or red teaming. This is for educational, ethical, and research purposes only. Any sort of malicious activity that may directly or indirectly come from someone watching my video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right, so this is surrounding the SSH protocol. And to give a high level overview of what that is, again, that is the remote administration protocol that offers encryption and is the successor of Telnet and runs on port 22 by default. Now, I'll be targeting something called libssh, which is a multi-platform C library implementing the secure shell version 2 protocol on client and server side. Versions .60 through .80 are vulnerable to an authentication bypass vulnerability in the libssh server code that can be exploited to execute commands on the target host. All right, so I'm going to show what that looks like. All right, in order to get started here, I have to do some discovery. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find out what my IP address is. All right, so I'm on Ethernet 1 interface, and my IP address is 192.134.129.2. All right, so I'm going to copy that. All right, the next thing I need to do is I need to see who else is awake on my local server, excuse me, on my local network here. So I am going to ping um, my local network here to see who else is up and running. All right, so I'm going to replace this 2 with a 0/24 to give it my CIDR address. All right, so as usual, 1, 2, and 3 are up. So 1 being our gateway, 2 being myself, 3 being our target host. All right, so next I'm going to jump right into the Metasploit framework here. So first I have to initiate the PostgresQL database, and then I'm going to combine that with the step to start the msfconsole, which is going to throw me into the Metasploit framework. All right. So as always, I'm going to start things off by creating a unique workspace for myself. So I'm going to say workspace-a, and I'm going to call this one libssh since that is what I'll be targeting. All right. And then also I'm going to set our target host as a global, well, let me actually have to write in there, as a global parameter, so I don't have to continue to fill that in each time I jump. If I jump module to module, it'll just um, pre-render this for me. All right. So now that we got that set up, I'm going to run a nmap scan in the Metasploit here instead of outside of it, because again, when I do that, it saves the findings in the Metasploit database. That way, I could query that information or work off that that information straight off of the Metasploit database. All right. So I'm gonna say db nmap, and I'm gonna run a send scan, service version scan, and an operating system scan on our target host here. All right, and we want to be able to see if we can see any evidence of that libssh, any version of it that's between .60 and .80 that's running on our target host. Okay, so we do have a winner here. So it is SSH is running on its default port, which is 22, and it is running an instance of SSH dot 8 dot 8.3. All right, so I'm going to let's see, let's get a clear view of this. I'm gonna just type services. All right, so there that way we can get a more clear view of the findings here. Okay, so this is what I'm working off of. Again, here's the version of the library that I'm targeting that the SSH is running on our target host on its default port. All right, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to search for that the authentication bypass the authentication bypass exploit module tool here. So I'm going to just say search live underscore auth bypass. Oh, I couldn't find it. Let's see. I know what I did wrong. Okay, no, I had to say live SSH. There we go. All right. So there's different anytime you see like little offshoots like this, that means it's different variations of the exploit module. There's an execute a command version, there's a spawn a shell version. I'm just going to choose the regular the original version of this exploit module. So I'm gonna say U0 since that is the module ID here on the left. All right, now that I've chosen that, let's go to show options. Because it only looks like there's really one thing I need to set here, and that's to change the spawn PTY to true. Okay, and what that's going to do, that's going to on the target host, that's going to produce a terminal again within the the target host, and that's what's going to be used to launch this attack. All right, we won't be able to see that on our end, but on the host target host end, that's what's going to be happening. So I'm going to turn that on. So I'm going to say set spawn pty. I'm going to set that to true. All right, and I don't believe there's anything else I need to do here, so I'm going to. This is auxiliary, so I'm going to say let's run this. And so should be another type of attack that's going to throw me into a shell instead of an interpreter session. So I'm going to say sessions. All right, so we have our shell session there. So I'm going to jump into that, and I'm going to say sessions, and we can see our session ID is 1. So I'm going to just put sessions 1, and there's my shell session. All right, so just run a few commands here. See who am I? All right, so we can see that I am indeed the root account, and see, I'm gonna say cat etc, and let's find some more information about the operating system distribution. So I'm gonna say etc wildcard, then release it. So any place that says release within the etc directory. All right, so it's telling me that that is running Arch Linux, and all the information regarding the Arch Linux distribution. Let's say that I wanted to enumerate some information about the kernel. All right, so I'm gonna say uname -r. All right, and that gives me the information regarding the kernel of that operating system. All right, so let's say that I did want to upgrade to a interpreter session here, all right, and I just didn't want to use the shell. So I'm gonna background this by doing Command Z. I'm gonna tell it yes. All right, now from here, let's make sure that my session is still running. I'm say sessions. All right, so we can see that my session is still running. We can see that session IDs. We're going to have to remember that. All right, when it comes to upgrading to a interpreter session. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna search for a module called shell underscore two underscore interpreter. All right, and there it is. All right, so this is a post exploitation module. So a post exploitation module is what's used after you have compromised a target, and you now have a connection to it. Now these are the type of modules that you use post exploitation after you've exploited your target. All right, so this is again. So since I'm already have a shell session with the target, I'm going to use this to then upgrade that shell target to a interpreter session. So I'm going to say use 0 since that's the only tool and the module on the list. All right, and then show options. All right, so there's two things I need to adjust here. One is I need to set my IP address as the L host, and then and for the session, remember when I did sessions before looking for this tool, I noted that my session ID was 1, so that's why I need to set the session to is 1, and it's session with no S. So I know usually we used to type in sessions with an S when anytime we're interacting with any active interpreter or shell sessions, but this instance it's going to be just singular. All right, so I'm gonna say set L host, and then let's see, let's give it my IP. All right, and then I'm going to set the session to 1. All right, and that should be good to go. So I'm gonna just tell it to run. All right, we have multi-handler running in the background, which works very similar to netcat listener, where it listens for a connection. That connection's already there, and it started a interpreter session for me. All right, so I'm gonna just say sessions. All right, and we can see this second session here, which is a 32-bit interpreter session. So I'm going to jump into that. Say sessions, and then we're going to use session ID 2. All right, now that we're in, just do some enumeration here. Sysinfo, we can see that it's running variation of Linux, 64-bit version of it, and I have a 32-bit interpreter session. I'm gonna leave that alone. No reason to migrate since I'm not really going that deep into that in this video. Let's say get UID just to see my level of permissions, and am the root account. All right, so that's how this particular SSH vulnerability is exploited. So again, this is why it's good to have good patch management to make sure that you look out for the CVEs when they're released, and that soon as possible, as soon as they're released, that you have this patch. This particular CVE is about 5 years. Really, if I'm doing that math right, see, 7 years, excuse me, 7 years old. So it should be ideally it should be patched by now, but if not, this is what an exploitation of this particular variation of the SSH protocol and this related library looks like. So please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. Until next time, take care of yourself and God bless.